October balance changes have dropped for now more than a week, and it is time to establish the official hero tier list for this meta. I want to give a huge shout out to these players appearing on the screen for making this tier list possible. Don't forget to subscribe if you never want to miss out on the best Clash Mini tier list, and let's jump into the worst hero. The Natureborn, quite frankly, fell out of the meta ever since her huge nerf, which got her starting energy from 2 down to 0. This means that she's not gonna get that early super which would carry, which would synergize so well with Archer's P.E.K.K.A. Doubling their damage was something really phenomenal. Natureborn just feels overall less impactful. And also there's just better viable tanks in the meta now, with the Shieldmaid making a huge comeback. Natureborn might be the only unit to be able to move once during the game, but she's going to be stuck at the bottom of this tier list. Jumping into the D tier, we have Mr. One Punch Man, aka the Monk. Ever since no movement, Monk definitely got significantly nerfed, as now, well, basically, a usual day in the life of a Monk is round 1, your opponent waits for you to place their Monk, and then they just place their troops not in the same column as your Monk, and your Monk basically gets no value with his Clash ability. It's an outdated hero that needs to be redesigned, and that is exactly what Seth had said in the last October stage channel. They want to make this hero way more dynamic, and I'm very excited to see what they could come up, as, you know, the Shieldmaiden rework was absolutely beautiful. So let's see what they got cooking for us in the next balance changes. Next up in the D tier, we have Mr. Grand Warden. I think it was maybe 3 months ago where they reduced the hit speed increase given by a shielded troop. But ever since that, really, Grand Warden became way more balanced, and just overall, some heroes have just gotten way better with recent balance changes. We've seen it with the Shieldmaiden. So as every hero around the Grand Warden is getting either buffed or nerfed, the Grand Warden kind of just stays at the bottom of this tier list. And speaking of heroes that have been left out of the recent balance changes, we have the Pink Fury. We all thought, including myself, that with the BK rework, the BK would be less frequently used, and that would bring back the Pink Fury, but instead they actually bring in the Shieldmaiden. It's really painful to see the Pink Fury use that ultimate ability and then get it reflected by the Shieldmaiden, which has so much health, so much tanking. And this, you know, I'm talking about the Shieldmaiden, but we could also talk about the Skeleton King with his Dissipate. And we could also talk about the very, very strong long-range heroes, the Royal Champions, the Archer Queens, which just make these melee heroes' life miserable. And that is why she's going to be in the D tier. Now, moving up into the C tier, we're going to have Mr. Wavemaster. So in the past 2 balance changes, Wavemaster definitely received a lot of changes, a lot of reworks to his stun, to his Clash ability, and now it feels like it's a way more balanced and healthy Wavemaster. It's not a hero that's going to permanently stun the whole board, as we've known it for, you know, months and months. Now it's a hero, yes, that has that ultimate ability that definitely stuns everyone, but that's it. That's it. And his Clash ability now gives more chances to units that don't particularly have energy, because now he's going to be giving that Rage out, which is going to expand the pool of minis you can launch. And we've seen it with, you know, the Royal Ghost, we've seen it with the Valkyrie. There's a lot more options, and the Wavemaster doesn't feel that painful to deal with. This is why he's going to be in the C tier. Joining the Wavemaster in the C tier, we have the Countess. If it would have been up to me, I would have definitely put the Countess in a much lower tier, because I just think right now she's just very, very difficult to get a lot of value out of, especially because they took out that backstab, which made the Countess just the hero that was very difficult to get those kills, in my opinion, because, you know, she has to target a unit that has below 50% of their health, and then she's going to do that critical damage. So taking out those easy kills that she would have done in the previous months. Now it's just not going to be the case. But if you can get that Countess locked on to these specific units, she's going to do 6 damage, and that's just going to be super, super painful for your opponent to deal with. And that is why she's going to be in the C tier. Moving into the B tier, we've got the BK. Oh my god, it feels so good to say that. BK has been on top of the meta for as long as I could remember. He's been reworked. His super now no longer multiplies the damage of every ally by 2. Now it gives +2 damage. So for example, the P.E.K.K.A, a maxed out P.E.K.K.A right now, I think it does 22, 23 damage. And now it no longer does that 48 damage, that 46 damage. It now does 25. It's definitely made the BK way more balanced, in a much healthier spot than it was just for as long as I could remember. And now they are going to be able to easily tweak out the BK and easily add new minis without thinking, oh my god, what happens if that mini that we're going to introduce is going to get her damage or his damage multiplied by 2? That's just not going to be a thought anymore. Speaking of kings, we've got the Skeleton King. Now that is definitely the hero that surprised me the most, because I just thought, adding 2 guards would just, what's the difference? You're just gonna give extra bows to units that already just destroy the Skeleton King, like the Dark Goblin, like the Magic Archer, things like that. But actually, the guards really synergize really well with the Skeleton King, because he uses that super, boops everybody away, and the guards come and keep the units isolated. This means the Skeleton King is going to get that critical, that dissipate, and starts slowly snowballing in your opponent. So even though there was that huge Royal Ghost rework, which for me was the end of Skeleton King, he's back and better in the meta. Now moving into the A tier, we have the Royal Champion. The Royal Champion definitely had some tough time, ever since they took out her Clash ability, which would throw a spear down the column. She was always a good hero, but not a top tier hero. And in this meta, ladies and gentlemen, in the September balance changes, they increased her hit speed by 0.15, and we can really notice that. She gets that super off really, really quickly, starts bouncing her shield on all of your troops, and it can easily feel overwhelming, especially when you're playing squishy troops, those 2 elixir units, or if you're playing a Skeleton King, if you got those guards, and she's going to be snowballing her super and really just dominating your hero overall. And that is why she's going to be the first hero in the A tier. Joining the Royal Champion in the A tier, it's going to be probably one of my favorite heroes inside of this meta, and I'm so happy she's back. It's going to be the Shieldmaid. I think that's my character right there, right? The Shieldmaid, look at that. This is me. This character right there, or it's maybe right there. Maybe right there. I think it's right there. Shieldmaid just got a beautiful rework, and I think the best part is that rework really fits into her identity. She's that ultimate protector. She's the one that's going to be shielding your troops, letting them shine, taking those bullets, taking that damage. It's just wonderful to see her on top of the meta. She's one of the heroes I personally use the most myself. That KO ability just insanely strong, because as soon as she's got 1 health, boom, she pops that super, attracts every troop nearby her. That has so much clutch potential. It is ridiculous how many rounds I have won because of that ability, and for that, she's going to be in the A tier. And for the S tier, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have probably guessed it. It is going to be Archer Queen, which is going to be on top of the meta this October. I don't know what to say. The thing is, she hasn't received any balance changes in the last 2 months. Nothing has happened, and somehow, some way, she is going to be the one on top, dominating. She's just ridiculously strong. She pairs up extremely well with a variety of minis, It can be a wizard, it can be a musketeer, a healing ranger, a dark goblin. Anything you place behind that archer queen is going to be protected. The thing is, the archer queen hasn't been balance changed, but her main counters have slowly kind of faded away. We've seen it with the miner, where now you could place a knight and taunt that miner that would retarget onto the knight and not dissipate your archer queen, your musketeer, your healing ranger, and also the fisherman, which now has a 3-tile range. And if your opponent wants to pull your archer queen that's in that second to last row, they have to place the fisherman in front of their troops, which means you can easily print and counter that. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, this archer queen is going to be the queen of the meta. Thank you so much, guys, for watching till the end. This beautiful tier list. It is just wonderful to see how the pros see the meta and concretely put it down in a tier list that's not my tier list. It's the tier list that was made by the best in the game. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in another video.